Thank you. Commissioner Hados?
Yes, good morning. I really witnessed Father George for many years and many different communities. Leader and bringing the people together.
Speak into the mic.
Bringing the people together in a positive way, in a great support for all the community member, despite their different religion or culture or color. So, and I think it's a proper time to tell them thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you so much. Thank you again, Father, for coming with us today. Madam Clerk, next item.
Reading, correcting, and approval of the journal.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Baydun.
Move for approval.
Moved and supported. Any corrections to the journal? Hearing none, please vote.
Carries.
How much? Next item.
Report from the chair.
Thank you so much. I have a few things today, but first I'd like to bring up our Register of Deeds, Bernard Youngblood.
Will sing for us.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Youngblood. Sam said, are you going to sing for us? Maybe. Come on up, Mr. Register of Deeds.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Commissioner. It's always a pleasure to address the commission body that kind of oversees of where everything is going. And that's great business to watch. And another great business to watch was our November to Remember. At the time of maybe our country's change, where we see politics, conflict, and courtesy come back.
Yes.
So thank
you,
God for
Jesus.
that. A plot of earth, the street, the butcher and the grocer and the people that I meet, the children in the playground, the faces that I see, all races and religions. That's America to me. The place I work in, a worker at my side, the little towns and cities where my people lived and died. The howdy and the handshake, the air of feeling free, and the right to speak my mind out. That's America to me. I see the things that matter, the big things and the small, the little corner newsstand and the house a mile tall. The children in the playground, the laughter and the tears, and the dream that's been a-growing for more than 200 years. The town I live in, the church, the school, the room, the pavement of the city, and the garden all in bloom. The house, the school, the clubhouse, the million lights I see, but especially the people. That's America to me. Thank you.
That's a perfect song.
Thank you,
Beautiful.
Register of Deeds.
Mm,
The lyrics to that song were very touching and
yes.
I think very appropriate. So thank you so much, Register of Deeds. We have so much talent here in our elected officials, and that was a very nice surprise and very, very, very warranted at this time. So thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
Yes.
And a beautiful voice. Let's give him another hand.
Beautiful.
A nice way to kick off the holiday season as well. So thank you, Mr. Register of Deeds. A few other things I have today. Vice Chair Palomero is not here today. He was asked to speak to the freshman class of the House of Representatives up in Lansing to speak to the 60 new members at the House, just to give encouraging words. His depth and breadth of legislation, his knowledge, his experience will certainly be something to welcome to those new members. So I think it was an honor for him to be asked, and he said he would do it. And I said, I'm going to miss the meeting. I said, don't worry about it. I think that's more important, to give your experience and for them to hear you. So I thought that was a great honor for Commissioner to do that on today. Also, that segues into something else. We are so fortunate to have such dedicated, such bright, experienced, such honorable members of the Wayne County Commission. Everyone in their own right has a unique experience that they bring to this body. They have a wonderful experience that they've had in their life. And one of our commissioners had an absolutely beautiful event happen in his name that I was able to attend on Friday. It was awesome to hear the story of Commissioner Al Haydus, how he came to this country, started a store for 35 years, raised a family of 5 children who are all doing awesome. To come to this country not knowing the language and to have the successes that he has had is so inspirational to me and to all of us. And because of that, I am so happy, come on up here, Al, that we have a resolution signed by all commissioners recognizing the naming of a recreation center in Wayne, Michigan, that is now called the Al Haydus Recreation Center. It is a
wow.
beautiful, beautiful honor, and I think that is so.
That is wonderful.
He's surprised. He didn't know I was going to do this, but I just thought that was so awesome. And the love that was displayed for the people who have known him for all these many years was so evident on that day. It was a beautiful, beautiful day. And to have his name on that building in Wayne, the city where he was the mayor of, where he raised his family, it was an awesome, awesome day. So I thought it appropriate that his colleagues recognize that significant point of his life as well. And I want to present him with this resolution. So come up, Al, and say a few words, sir.
Thank you. You know, sometimes you feel like you want to say something or do something more than thank you. But I find nothing more beautiful than appreciate and say thank you. And I accept that honor on behalf of the citizen of Wayne and many mayors before me and many colleagues here. I learned from I've been lucky in my life. I didn't have a chance to go to college, but my college is the blessing the Lord gave me to have too many friends who I learned from. That where I gather my knowledge and my determination to serve God, family, and country to the best of my ability. I can say thank you enough for you, Madam the Chair. Thank all the other commissioner who was present in that occasion. And I hope to continue work with all of you to serve our communities to the best of our ability. Thank you.
Oh,
He's trying to take my phone. Thank you, Al. And again, it was just so heartwarming to hear all of the people speak so highly of him. And it's funny how small the world is. My father knew Al before he became a commissioner because my father would frequent his store out in Wayne before he even became a commissioner. So when he became a commissioner and they saw each other, they were like, I know you. So it's just how funny the world is so small, and all of the great things that you've done with the history of the store that you had for over 35 years in that community is absolutely awesome. To see your name on that building is such an honor. So thank you for serving on the Wayne County Commission. Thanks for all that you've done to serve your constituents in Wayne County. So we appreciate you and love you. So thank you, Al. That's all that I have for remarks by the chair. Next item, please.
Unfinished business, there is none listed. We are moving to page 2 of the agenda, offering of all petitions, ordinances, resolutions, and presentations. There is one resolution listed, a resolution by Commissioners Daub, Colleen, and Kenlock vehemently opposing any legislation or other change to the behavioral health system that would compromise the efficacy, responsiveness, and integrity of current community-based behavioral health systems in the state, or that would transfer control and allocation of the financial resources from public services providers to private entities.
Commissioner Dobb.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wrote this resolution with the help of Commissioners Colleen and Kinlock because our partners at the Michigan Association of Counties think that a deal to privatize medical health care is imminent based on their analysis and discussions at the Capitol. A compromise between the House and Senate on Senate Bills 597 and 598 and House Bills 4925 and 4928 could result in new legislation that would damage mental health services in Michigan. Senate Bills 597 and 598 would shift financial administration of Medicaid mental health services to privatize Medicaid health plans. These bills ultimately take away public accountability and local governance and turn control over to for-profit insurance companies that do not have a good track record in treating patients with mental health needs. Conversations surrounding a potential deal have been mainly focused on moving all children's Medicaid services, including autism and foster care, over to private insurance companies. And the state would create one statewide entity to manage the remaining populations. So this resolution will be sent to our governor and the Wayne County delegation in the Michigan legislature. And I'd also request my fellow commissioners make some calls and send some emails to make sure that our state reps and senators know how important this is to us and that we oppose these bills. And with that, I'd like to make a motion to approve this resolution.
Been moved and supported. Commissioner Colleen and Kinlock as co-sponsors of this. Do you have words, either of you? Mr. Kinlock?
One thing I would say, like to say is that an update. One, we're hearing that it will not move forward in lame duck. And we absolutely know that come January, that it will not see the light of day when we have new leadership within both the House and the Senate. And so that is the latest that I understand. We had a DWIN board meeting yesterday, so pretty great to hear that. Thank you.
Colleen?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I'll just comment, this battle's been going on for 15 years or so up in Lansing, efforts here and there. Michigan does have a public system. There are plenty of states around the country that have done this privatization, and you can look at the services that have been diminished in those states because of this. I happen to have a sister out in Iowa that's interested in this, and they privatized their system, and a lot of people fell off. So for-profit insurance companies do not like risk. The mental health population, things like autism, big risk, big dollars. And so folks that need the service the most under a privatized system are the first ones to get jettisoned, right? where insurance companies go, well, we don't cover that, sorry. So this is very vital to mental health services in the state. We operate our mental health system on about a margin of 7%. We take about 7% out in the public system for administration. For-profit insurance companies, 15 to 17%, 8-10% difference. $5 billion comes to this state to provide from the federal government to provide mental health services. If you take 10% right off the top of that for the profits for the health plans, that's a lot of services that are going that will not be delivered. And I also like on this issue to say to people, I am much more comfortable with a public system, with a public board, make a local Wayne County to win, making decisions. We have an appointment to that board today that's coming up on the Health and Human Services Committee. I'd rather have a public board in Wayne County with Wayne County residents making decisions on mental health care in Wayne County than some corporate boardroom on the 27th floor or some high rise in Houston, Texas, or Denver, Colorado, or somewhere making those decisions on behalf of the people that have those needs in Wayne County. So thank you, Commissioner Dobb, for bringing this forward. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Scott?
Can we open it for all of us?
Absolutely, ma'am.
Thank you.
Commissioner Clark Coleman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Even if it gets through lame duck, the governor has to sign this, right?
Yes.
So.
Yes, veto power. So, yes.
Okay. So I don't know why they would even try to push that.
So I make a motion to open the board, please.
All right, let us vote first and then we'll open the board.
Okay.
So any further discussion on the item? All right, please vote.
Motion carries.
Okay, then motion by Commissioner Scott to open the board for all commissioners to co-sign if they'd like. So let us know when the board is open for co-sponsors. Open, okay.
Open for
Co-sponsors, please.
co-sponsors duly noted.
Thank you so much. And I was just notified that State Representative, soon to be Commissioner, Kara Clemente is in the audience. Representative, Commissioner, hello, how are you? Let's welcome her.
Welcome.
And we look forward to working with her in January. So congratulations. And we have a lot to do to get you onboarded, but we will do that. And we look forward to seeing you in January, if not before. Thank you for coming today. Next item, Madam Clerk.
We're moving to reports from committees. Report A is from the Committee on Audit. There are 2 items listed.
Commissioner Basham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have 2 resolutions. One, actually of these resolutions, the person I was actually made the resolution for is our current chair of, I'm not chair, current Auditor General for Wayne County, Marcy Cora. And if she wasn't here, I would say very nice things about her, but she is here, so I have to choose my words. But anyway, I would move them at this time to receive and file. Thank you.
Okay, let's get moved and supported. Any discussion on the report on audit? And number 2 is for the approval of Cora for the Wayne County Legislative Auditor General, 2 years. Any discussion on those 2 items? Commissioner Kling?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Cora, how many years have you been our AG now?
I'm currently in my 8th year. 8 years.
8 years. Madam Chair, I'm just delighted. You know, I've been in audit since I've been on the commission here. And like with many things in Wayne County, the Auditor General has been suffering from a diminished staff. When I first got here, I think there were about 18 people in the Auditor General's office. We're at 8, I believe, right now. But the ability of Ms. Cora to manage her budget, to get quality work done on her audits. This is a big part of the commission oversight responsibilities is through these audits. And her ability to manage through these tough times and deliver quality audits has been exceptional. And I'm delighted that she's going to continue to be with us for another 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you. And as many of you know, the term of the Auditor General for Wayne County is 10 years max. So this is her last 2 years, and within the next 6 to 9 months, we'll start the process of interviewing for the next term. Auditor General will take place January 1st, 2025. So, but we thank Cora for her just her excellence in running the office, and we're glad to have her for another 2 years while we try to fill her seat, which will be definitely hard to fill. But thank you for your service. Okay. Any discussion on the Auditor General's report? Commissioner Haydos?
Thank you, Madam the Chair. I have the chance to be on the Audit Committee in the past, and I was very impressed with her quality in many different ways, personality.
Speak of the mic, Commissioner.
And I just want to say thank you to her and a job well done. She, all those 8 years she been with us, she was not able to convince Commissioner Bassam. It's all right sometime to have retroactive. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hearing no other discussion, please vote.
Motion carries.
Next item, please.
We're moving to report B from the Committee on Public Safety, Judiciary, and Homeland Security. There are 3 items listed on pages 2 and 3 of the agenda.
Commissioner Clark Coleman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move approval of items 1, 2, and 3.
Support.
Been moved and supported for the Public Safety Committee items. Any discussion on these 3 items? Commissioner Kinlaw?
Madam Chair, I would like to be the maker of the motion for item 3.
Granted.
Why?
District.
In my district also.
No, you can have it. You can have it. You can have it.
Okay, we'll have both commissioners sponsor number 3.
Rescue missions
Commissioner
are
Scott
all over.
and
And I'm on
Commissioner
the
Kinlaw.
board.
Okay, Commissioner Scott only. Showing deference. So, Commissioner Scott's making a motion on number 3. Any further discussion on the public safety report? All right, hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries, and I have Commissioner Scott as the maker of the motion on item number 3.
Thank you. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Here on report C from the Committee on Government Operations, there are 4 items listed on pages 3 and 4 of the agenda.
Commissioner Dodd. Stop.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move the entire report for approval.
Government Operations Report, items 1 through 4. Any discussion on any of these items? Discussion? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Here on report D from the Committee on Public Services, there are 6 items listed on pages 5 and 6 of the agenda.
Marecki.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move to receive and file item 1,
Move approval for items 2 through 6, and on item 5, put is the maker of the motion, Commissioner Hattis.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion on the public services report?
Madam Chair, I wonder if the committee chair might allow me to be the maker of the motion on item 6. Thank you, ma'am.
Further discussion? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries, and I have Commissioner Hattis as the maker of the motion on item number 5 and Commissioner Kenizik as the maker of the motion on item number 6.
Thank you. Next item.
We're moving to report E from the Committee on Ways and Means. There are 20 items listed on pages 6 through 10 of the agenda.
Commissioner Varga.
Thank you very much. I would like to move the entire Ways and Means report, and I want to thank Commissioner Sam Baydun and the Vice Chair for chairing the meeting in my absence.
Support.
Moved and supported the Ways and Means report. Any discussion on the items on Ways and Means? 20 items on Ways and Means. Any discussion on any of those items?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Kenizik?
I'd like to abstain on items 11 and 12, please.
Duly noted. Any further discussion on the Ways and Means report? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries, and I have Commissioner Kenizik as an abstention on 11 and 12.
Next item, please.
Here on report F from the Committee on Health and Human Services, there are 5 items listed on pages 10 through 12 of the agenda.
Colleen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, the committee is recommending 5 items today. The first one is the appointment to the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network Board that I mentioned previous. The second item is funded by the COVID funding reserve. We received not out of general fund to continue COVID activities. 3 and 4 are 2 of our big WIC programs that are being re-upped after they were after the RFPs went out with the Arab American Chaldean Council as well as with Access. And then number 5 is a not to exceed $5 million number that annually the county is obligated to send to the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network up to $5 million. And this is to cover the mental health services in our jails, not in the juvenile detention facility, but in our jails. And I move all 5 forward for approval.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Any discussion on these 5 items? Commissioner Colleen.
Yeah, Madam Chair, on item number 1, and I hope I have her last name correct. Ms. Bentuzzi, we had to move HHS last week till Thursday, and then we were unable. The administration was trying to get the nominee to the meeting, and then since we had moved the HHS meeting, she couldn't attend. She is with us by Zoom today, I understand. So if anybody has any questions, or if the nominee, I hope I got the name right, Ms. Bentuzzi would like to say a word or two about joining this board, this would be an appropriate time. Ms.
Good
Bentuzzi?
morning.
Oh, good.
Good morning. So sorry, I'm dealing with a viral infection. I hope you all can hear me, but it's an honor to be here with all of you today. I'm certainly excited about the opportunity to serve in the county where I live and work and participate and share my knowledge to improve and better the mental health services in our county and help strengthen the bridge between the mental health county agency and the local academies and communities, community organizations. So looking forward to serving in this agency and helping and serving in my community and my county. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us today. We look forward to your service.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any further discussion on the Health and Human Services report? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Next item, please.
Upcoming meetings.
Okay, please be aware that we're having our first Benefits and Staffing Task Force meeting today here at 12:30. So the members know who you are. Commissioners who would like to sit in, please do so as well if you'd like. That'll be today at 12:30.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Kinlock.
Would just like to just remind individuals that the criminal justice complex subcommittee has been will not be held today.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Clark Coleman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I noticed that the committee on, I'm sorry, never mind. My mistake.
And if there are any changes to the schedule, please contact the clerk for any changes. Commissioner Basham?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just want to let the members know that the Committee on Audit for November 29th will be postponed.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
If there are any other changes, please let the clerk know. Okay, next item.
We're moving to page 13 of the agenda, new business. There is one item listed on the agenda and one on the addenda. Item number 1 is a revision of resolution number 2022-789, approving an agreement which consists of an addendum and master subscription agreement with 2 one-year options to renew between the Charter County of Wayne and Brightly Software. It's a revised resolution because the amount was overstated by 50 cents and we need to make the correction.
Okay,
Approval, Madam Chair.
Support.
and this is a correction because the dollar amount was off 50 cents. Any discussion on this? I heard a motion. We have another item on new business as well. So let's take those together. What's the next item on the new business?
Item number 2 on the addenda is requesting commission approval of a cooperative agreement between the Charter County of Wayne and Motorola Solutions in the amount of $277,993.31 through My Deal for 55 two-way radios for first responders in the county.
Sir, give us your name and title for the record.
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Nathaniel McQueen, Deputy Director for Wayne County Homeland Security and Emergency Management.
Okay, if you could explain this item, please.
Yes, absolutely. Upon taking my position as Deputy Director, as well as Director Sammer Jafer taking his position as a Director for Homeland Security and Emergency Management this past July, we became aware in August that there was a federal grant which had to be expended prior to the end of this current year of 2022 in the amount of $275,000 minimum. What that is it comes through the HSGP, which is the Homeland Security Grant Program, and it's administered through UASI, the Urban Area Securities Initiative, which Wayne County is a part of. Of the entire amount of monies, it's over $700,000. However, 36% of that amount of money has to be spent on what is called LETPA, which is a Law Enforcement Terrorist Prevention Act. And we are mandated to spend an X amount of dollars just for law enforcement. And it came about real quickly just because after 9/11, much of the monies that were distributed from the federal government were being utilized by other emergency support services. And law enforcement was kind of left behind. And so the federal government gave a mandate that X amount of dollars had to be spent for law enforcement equipment. Once we became aware in August that we had till the end of this year to expend these funds, we then researched what programs we could utilize and what equipment we could purchase. We came up with a program that would benefit many of our law enforcement entities within the county of Wayne here, being radios, because many of our law enforcement entities are very deficient currently with their radio capabilities. We then submitted that to the state and the federal government for approval to make sure it fell within the guidelines, which it did. Once we got that back, we then got our, from Motorola, the amount that it would cost us, which was $277, which fit the amount of money we had to dispense. And then we submitted that to commission. Unfortunately, once we submitted that to commission, it got put back into draft because there was some wording that they wanted us to change on that particular initial submission that we did. We made those changes, resubmitted it. There was an additional word that was found that needed to be changed again. Needless to say, here we are today. We do need to expend these funds prior to December. Not only do we need to make the purchase, but we need to get that paperwork back up to Lansing and then make sure that it is approved through the federal government. If there are any changes that need to be done, we need to have that time frame to be able to do that. With it now being close to obviously the middle of November, moving into the end of November and the holidays, we knew that a resubmittal through committee, which we normally always do, would then maybe push us right to the limit and not be able to make that threshold that we have to make by doing this by the end of the year. If we don't expend these funds by the end of the year, not only do we lose these funds, but we are penalized $4 for every one of these dollars that we don't spend. That was the reason why we asked for this to come immediately to full board commission.
Support.
Okay, thank you. And I'm sorry, you said these 55 radios are going to go to first responders throughout the county?
Correct, ma'am.
So do the municipalities have to apply, or do you already have a list of who you're going to give them to, or how are they distributed?
Yes, we've already received list of agencies that have a deficiency right now with their radios. And what that deficiency is, for some of you that may not know, and don't get me started on talking about stuff like this. I go all day. We'd be here all day. But
We're not.
No, we're not. All right. But some of our agencies don't have the capabilities to encrypt their radios because their radios have kind of time, they're dated. And so the ability to encrypt the radio allows law enforcement to be able to work not only particular cases that they're working on that they don't want anyone with a scanner to be able to pick up that information, but there's sensitive information that's passed along on those radios oftentimes, and not being able to encrypt that causes a problem for them. So we've identified many of those agencies and they will be going to them.
And these 55, is that enough, or will we be going out for
No,
additional?
we're going to be doing additional with this upcoming year, but that will be going through committee.
Okay, any questions on this item? Okay. All right, I had a motion, I think Commissioner Scott, for items 1 and 2, supported by, who supported? Okay, made by Commissioner Kimlock, supported by Commissioner Scott on the two, 1 and 2 of the new business. Any discussion on those 2 items? Okay, hearing none, please vote. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, commissioners.
Motion carries.
All right. Go ahead to the next item, Madam Clerk.
On testimonial resolutions and certificates of appreciation, there are 12 items listed on pages 13 and 14 of the agenda, and the resolution by all commissioners honoring Commissioner Hattis will also be added.
Commissioner Marecki?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would just like to comment on the 3 young men that I honored, Ethan, Chase, and Colin, last week. These boys, you might have seen on the news, it was even on the national news, were walking home from school in August and saw a burning home and went in and took out 2 of the citizens in the home. They're amazing young men. And the thing was, which was really eye-opening, there was a Ring doorbell across the street that watched this. And there were several cars that went by the burning home and never stopped. And there was even a male person that went by, stopped, got out and videotaped the burning home. But nobody went in except for these 3 kids to help the residents in there. So it was an honor to meet them. And I think their story is a great story. And I think they're getting sick of being remembered this way. I think they're done with all these awards. So I just wanted to highlight them.
How old are they?
They, I think 2 are 16 and 1 is 17. And they grew up all together like as little kids, and they're really amazing kids, polite, nice, humble. So it was an honor.
Awesome. Thank you, Commissioner, for honoring them. Thank you. Anderson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to take the opportunity to recognize On number 11, as everyone will see, that Mayor Randy Walker for his distinguished service to Garden City, and he's with us today. If we would have him stand up and acknowledge him. He served as mayor of Garden City for 13 years. A lengthy time for anyone to serve as mayor in these days especially. He's a retired Ford Motor Company employee, and I think his colleague is sitting in the back row over there, that he might stand up and say hello to him or say hello to him, but it's probably already did. But they work together, and that's Commissioner Basham. And they've known each other probably longer than I've known the mayor. But anyway, I wanted to acknowledge that he's with us today and thank him for his service, his public service. And like I said, 13 years, that's a long time to be mayor. And
Stand up, Mayor. Thank you so much for your service. And of course, he's our Director of Veterans Affairs now,
Yes,
so
he
we
is.
thank you for what you're doing with our veterans. Commissioner Basham?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Walker was my supervisor for 1 month and maybe a little bit longer, maybe 5 weeks. But that's when the Ford stock went up. And also, on a serious note, I've actually referred a Vietnam vet who has some Agent Orange issues to Mr. Walker, and he's already working with another Ford employee who actually has major issues from the Vietnam War. And so I appreciate his service and also his future service to this county. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I forgot one thing. One of his most recent activities as mayor of Garden City too is they acquired a property that was owned by Schoolcraft College that exists in Garden City. And they're in the process of moving all operations from the senior, pretty much all the operations from the senior facility, the food bank and everything into that building. But one of the most worthy things, or one of the worthy things, is he made a place available, a part of that building for our veterans to have veteran services come directly to them and at no charge to the county. So I think that's worthy of noting too.
Thank you. That is, and of course, with last week being Veterans Day on Friday, there were a multitude of veteran activities. And I want to thank again, Director Walker for having the program outside on last week, Monday. And I'll speak on behalf of Monique Baker McCormick, who initiated the green light activity, and Director Walker was able to coordinate that. We had a junior ROTC from Pershing to come out, wonderful speaker, and we initiated the green lights for Wayne County. So again, Director, thank you for your leadership and for the veterans, and thank you for your service to Garden City.
Madam Chair, when you mentioned that, it made me remember that he instituted a observance at Garden City High School. And I think, Mayor, was it every year you were mayor that you handled that? And from the time you started, and I was in attendance last Friday. Beautiful event.
Thank you, Mr. Director, for all your service. And we continue to look for great things from you for our veterans. So thank you, sir. Thank you, Commissioner. Any additional discussion on testimony, resolutions, and certificates? Commissioner Knizik?
I'll defer
Commissioner
to
Clark
Commissioner
Coleman.
Clark Coleman. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Commissioner Knizik, and thank you, Madam Chair. I would certainly like to bring attention to one of my constituents that turned 100 years of age, Ruby Cole, and you would not believe how young this lady looks. When I walked into her home, I could not, I was going to ask her, where was Ruby Cole? She is so, and she's still active. She serves on boards and commissions and all. She was, we were sitting around talking and we couldn't think of certain things, and she did. And she's just a delight. And I saw her because one of the major TV stations. I can't remember if it was Channel 4 or Channel 7. They did a special recognition on her where they actually did a nice piece on her. And Commissioner Glenn Anderson texted me and said that when he saw the piece, he went online to find out where she lived, and she was in my district. I saw the piece also, did not know she was in my district, but I was very happy. So I want to thank Commissioner Anderson for bringing that to my attention. So, but she is just a wonderful lady, and I'm just so proud that she was in my district.
100 years young. That's awesome.
Yeah, she is. She is 100 years young. She gets around very well, and her mind is so sharp.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Kniezek.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I also just wanted to make a really quick remark about two people, actually. I'll start with Jay Lee Lynch, who is also being recognized by Commissioner Anderson. We're in that nice transition phase where I'm excited about picking up Garden City in January. His loss is certainly my gain. I love the community. I'm excited to have him back. Jay Lee is currently on council. She had previously served as mayor. She's currently on my staff and was somebody who had previously been serving Commissioner Webb. And when I came into this role, kept her on as a community representative. So I wanted to thank Jay Lee for her service to the community as well, very active within the educational space in Garden City and beyond. So wanted to recognize her. And then I also wanted to join the chorus of voices here, recognizing Mayor Walker for his service to Garden City and in particular veterans across Wayne County. Like I said, when he got appointed to this role, it really is a perfect fit for him and his passions. Our relationship goes back to early 2012. I was 25 years old, a senior in college. I wanted to run for the House of Representatives. He was one of the first people that I met with in his office at Garden City Hall. Told him who I was, told him what I was about. Himself being an Air Force veteran, learning that I was a Marine Corps veteran. I think that's about all Randy had to hear in that conversation. And he was one of my earliest and strongest supporters, always has been. But beyond that personal relationship and that personal friendship, just a salt of the earth human being and a great representative for Garden City, and has done right by the community these last 13 years as mayor. And I think even a few more before that as a member of the council. So I think a real testament to that. And listen, I've lost elections before. Randy lost last Tuesday. It sucks. And it would be so easy to just sort of take that loss and want to curl up and sit at home and not have to deal with it or face the world. He lost on Tuesday. Thursday, we were walking through the center in Garden City that Commissioner Anderson spoke of. Randy wanted to see all of this out and all of this through to the very end. And it's hard not to have a ton of respect and a ton of love and appreciation for somebody who truly is committed to the community. Even when it doesn't work out for them, they're willing to give back of themselves and see it through to the very end. So Mayor Walker, you'll always be Mayor Walker to me. You've got my respect. I appreciate you, brother. And I know you're not going anywhere. So I'm looking forward to working with you next year too.
Thank you, Commissioner. Those were wonderful remarks. Mayor Walker, you see how much you're loved and beloved for your service to the community. So we look forward to continuing to work with you and you give continued service to Wayne County. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Kinlock.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It was a great honor on Veterans Day to participate in the celebration and the recognizing of the 102nd Regiment U.S. Colored Troops and the 5th United States Colored Troops Infantry, African American and Native American troops and all military veterans at the Elmwood Cemetery. It was a great ceremony, tribute, and also to see and to have met some of the descendants of those who fought in that war was very remarkable. And so I was honored to participate in that event and those services. Also would like to mention a recognition that went to Detroit or soon to be retired Detroit Police Lieutenant Clive Stewart, who retired after 26 years of service. He will now become the Deputy Police Chief for the Detroit Public Schools, or what the new name of the school district. So he will begin that, I believe, in a couple of weeks, as a matter of fact. And I also too would like to say congratulations also to Mayor Randy Walker. I've had an opportunity to speak with him a few times. He's always made himself available as I was chair of the 13th, as I am chair of the 13th Congressional District. He's somebody who will absolutely give you a straight to the point observation. And he's been very, very welcoming when we want to have meetings within Garden City. So I'm glad that you're joining the county. I'm looking forward to working with you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any additional remarks under testimony resolutions? Commissioner Hayes.
Thank you on this beautiful resolution and thank all the commissioner who signed it. I also like to thank the citizen of Wayne. I'd like to thank Ali Sayed and his board of director. And I hope I could live up to everybody's expectation. That's how I wish to end one day. I can't thank you enough. It was a total surprise. I didn't see anything in my email or something there in the resolution. So from the bottom of my heart, on behalf of my family, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And again, thank you for your service. Life well lived. Thank you. Any further discussion? Pam's looking at me. Need a motion for testimony resolutions? Moved and supported. Please vote.
Motion carries.
Next item, please.
We're on page 14 of the agenda, memoriams. There are 3 names listed.
Okay, let me first say that item number 3, Tyrone Winfrey, that memoriam was from all commissioners.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was an error. It was from all commissioners, and that was dropped off to the funeral home on Friday prior to the services on Saturday. Commissioner Marecki?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to add the name of a friend of mine of 50 years
Hmm.
and an icon in Livonia who died last week, Dr. Jerry J. Smith.
Get the spelling of that name, Jerry, and so sorry for your loss of 50 years.
50, yeah.
Oh, so sorry for your loss. Any additional names for memoriams? Did have a couple of icons in Detroit area to pass away. Dr. Charles Ennis, of course, is the father of our very own Victoria Ennis Edwards in our Human Relations Department. And then, of course, Tyrone Winfrey, who was the husband of Detroit City Clerk Janice Winfrey. Both of them had their services on last week. So let's stand for a moment of silence for those that we've lost. Thank you so much, and we'll continue to keep those families in our prayers. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Public comments.
Okay, on Zoom, I just see one hand, Michael Cunningham, and the time is 2 minutes. Mr. Cunningham, you can take yourself off of mute.
Hello, I'm in the KFC line. I'm sorry. There's a DDOT meeting this afternoon for anyone listening. Please be compassionate to those who take the bus. You might have a car, you might have a decent income, but there's a lot of folks that are going to be out here in the cold during the season waiting on buses that should be there in 30 minutes. Instead, they're there an hour and a half later, 2 hours later. This is commonplace. As the chair stated, you guys have no bearing on DDOT, but you guys have juice, you have power, you can make a phone call, you can send an email. The jurisdiction for the bus system is the city council. And I'm sure you guys communicate with them as well. But I want you to have some empathy and ride the coaches and talk to the people. And we need quality transportation. Me personally, I give out bus tickets and a hand warmer or something like that. Someone's out there an hour, hour and a half, and their face brightens up. They've had a bad day trying to get to work, school, probably been fired from a couple jobs because of the bus system, literally. But again, there's a Zoom meeting tonight, Thursday, November 17th, 5 p.m. The Zoom call-in number is 1-312-626-6799. And the meeting ID number is 962-6808-2855. And my name is Brother Cunningham, 313-444-9114. And on Facebook, Forced Subservience Cunningham. And Mr. Pulowski, thank you for what you do in the community. Robert Pulowski, thank you so much. You are very active. The system is going to be in some trouble this winter. People will be out in the cold waiting extreme amounts of time for the buses. So have some compassion. Each one of the commissioners and anybody listening, please be compassionate to people taking the bus. Detroit Department of Transportation. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else on Zoom who would like to give public comments at this time? Don't see any hands. If you're there, just speak. Hearing no one on Zoom, anyone on the telephone for public comments? Anyone in chambers for public comments? Come to the podium if you have, and make sure that we get a card for our records. Name and title for the record, please, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. Robert Pulowski. I'm from Southgate and represent the Wayne County Youth Council, District 15. So as request of the chair, I bring back a report from Lansing. We had a wonderful outcome on our trip on November 10th. I come back that very support from all senators and House representatives that we met with from the northern, the western, and right here from our beautiful city, Detroit. They were very supportive of our resolution, and we look forward to continuing this after our day in Lansing going forward. And just for the record, we have our meeting tonight, November 17th at 6 p.m. via Zoom. I invite all commissioners, staff to join and tune in to a wonderful meeting and more resolutions we have coming tonight. And the last thing I want to make note, since we just passed the election, I'd like to say thank you from all the commissioners, people in the community, my hometown of Southgate, and staff for the support on the Wayne County Public Transportation millage. It was a wonderful outcome. I was there at my polling place handing out flyers from 8 to 4, and the amount of support we got from residents in Southgate, Lincoln Park, Taylor, and Wyandotte was absolutely amazing. So, and we couldn't have done it without the Wayne County Transit Board and our administration over at SMART and Commissioner Hadus that is also on the SMART board. Again, thank you, and I look forward to talking with you guys next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you for coming out. And I understand they had a marvelous time in Lansing with the Youth Council. That was a great experience for our young people. So hopefully you can talk to your representatives on the Youth Council and get a flavor of what they did and encourage them to keep advocacy. Good. Hold on one second. I'm gonna get your mic for you. Hold on one second.
Thank you for your time. I'm President Buffington of Local 1659 of ASME. I came before this body to speak today in regards to a health and safety hazard issue in regards to employees of Wayne County for the WSCDA, ASME 1659, Local 25, 409, GAA, et cetera. We are exhausted as employees from the shortage that has outcome from the employment variation of hiring through your HR department. We are indicating that there is a health and safety issue because of riots going on in the jails and the shortage of staff and the employees that are out on leaves. We're in a health and safety hazard in regards to the exhaustion of the employees that are doing multiple overtimes. You know that in the commission meetings because the sheriff's department comes with over $1 million in overtime on a regular basis in regards to inquiring on monies for the employees. This issue is being brought before the board. We plan on as a coalition, as addressing this with the commission and addressing this with Warren Evans in regards to better health and fair wages for the employees, for hiring in regular employees. You have temporary workers that are coming in, they're doing work, they're not accountable. We're being blamed as union employees for the letdown and the outlet of no training and the implementation of these people coming in. So the temporary workers that are coming in are doing more damage than helping in coming in to fill these positions. And I just wanted this body to know. And one other thing in regards to the contract for NAVCare coming in, that is a every 2-year requirement that is done under Warren Evans since he privatized or authoritated the nursing staff in the jail. This is part of my local also.
Thank you, Madam President. Please come to the 12:30 meeting today, where we'll be discussing benefits and staffing. So if your schedule allows, please attend that meeting, and we'll have that discussion in more detail at that time. Any additional members from the public to comment? Public comment? You have one? I'm sorry, what we got? You have 2 emails. Go ahead, Pam.
First email is from Michelle Reese. Good morning, commissioners. Today I echo a plea Commissioner Killeen so appropriately made a couple months ago. He said, and I quote, "Oversight and transparency are due the public." With that, I bring forward an example of transparency not being provided to your constituents. The last 3 commission meetings dated October 6th, 20th, and November 3rd have not been posted for public viewing. Furthermore, regarding oversight, that also has been absent when referring to the Wayne County Building Authority, a board appointed by the Wayne County Executive, but approved by your commission to acquire, own, operate, and maintain buildings and also building sites in our county. Truly a critical function. Your commission was notified on July 27th that 2 members of this board had terms that were expired. Yet this morning, 4 months later, 4 out of those same 5 members have terms expired, 1 as of 2 years ago. Yet the website suggests this board had a meeting on September 21st, 2022. Who meets and who is being paid to serve your constituents on it? The residents of Wayne County look forward to transparency on both these issues.
Thank you so much. Next item, please.
Reconsiderations.
There are none. Remarks by members. And before we go to remarks by members, I'm going to put Tony on the spot really quick. Tony, if you don't mind, yesterday we received the press release about the rape kits and how they've all been tested. You want to speak to that, Tony, if you can, with the prosecutor's office?
Very, very pleased. You know, the prosecutor is absolutely adamant. All of the 11,341 rape kits have been tested. We're in the process now of finishing the, I don't want to call it the development stage, but actually the prosecution part of the stage at this point. Madam Prosecutor has also secured a grant, which this body was kind enough to approve today, another $550,000 to pay for 3 law interns to work on these. And also, we are hoping that those funds will allow us to be able to dispose of the 250 kits that, while they've been tested, now we're doing the process of scoping across the entire country to absolutely locate the culprits. One little bit of information which is shocking is the fact that as Madam Prosecutor has gone through these and come to the point where we are now, we have found that these rape kits touch upon 39 out of the 52 states. So figure that. We have these serial rapists who are going from state to state and performing these heinous acts. We're very grateful to the support that we get from this body. And you know, Madam Prosecutor always appears before you to tell you what she's doing. And I'm grateful that she's kept me around.
Thank you, Tony. I thought that was important news. And then there's also a hotline that victims can call if they have additional information. I think that was also put in the press release as well. So we'll spread that information throughout our constituents for additional assistance for them.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you
One
so
thing I
much.
don't recall that they touched upon is the fact that Prosecutor Worthy also developed a system where we can track these, and there's a portal for the victims to track where their rape kit is in the process, and also allows the police to track these. It's funny because Kim says, well, you know, if we can track a package by FedEx or we can track it through UPS, why the heck can't we track these rape kits?
Right, right,
Thank you.
absolutely. Thank you so much, Tony, for that update. And we'll continue to be supportive of those efforts of the prosecutor to bring justice for those men and women who suffered that tragedy. So thank you so much. Remarks by members, Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Just wanted to, I guess, single out someone and a department for something that I think is worth noting. The Roads Division, I understand, is now on the verge, if not already surpassed, the number of lane miles that's been repaved in Wayne County at 122. I believe the figure is probably right. Still 122 lane miles. I believe it's a record. And so the director, Roads Division Director, Steve Shea, I'd like to acknowledge him, and I don't think he's with us today, but I wanted to give a shout out to him, to his crew, and the entire DPS department for a job well done. I think we hopefully we can continue on. The weather will cooperate, and we'll even exceed this number. But I think we're already at a record amount of miles, lane miles that have been redone. And I know Commissioner, some other commissioners were mentioning earlier today to me that they were just amazed at how much has been done. And I've seen it in all the communities that I've driven through. So just wanted to acknowledge them and say thanks. That's all I have.
Thank you so much, and we are so grateful. We can't say that the roads aren't getting paved. That's something we cannot say because we see cones everywhere, and then we have the results of the miles in Wayne County. So thank you, and thank you to our Department of Public Services for your work. Thank you, Commissioner. Vice Chair Pro Tem Baydun.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, let me echo what my colleague Commissioner Anderson stated. Steve Shea has been doing a great job. He's very accessible and is always returning phone calls. I want to applaud him too, and the entire DPS department. On a second note, last night I participated in Wayne County's Light Fest 8-kilometer run / walk, and it was a great event, well attended. Over 800 people participated. I finished my 5 mile of fast walking in 1 hour and 20 minutes and dedicated some of the calories burned to all of my colleagues who were not there. But also the Light Fest starts today and it runs through December 24th. I encourage everyone to attend. It's a great event every year.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you for walking for all of us. Any other remarks by members? I have a couple. One, you know, we've heard about what goes on, what's been happening at the JDF, and the youth were moved to the Dickerson facility in Hamtramck. Last week, I had an opportunity to go over there to see with my own eyes what's going on with the young people. The two co-directors gave me a tour of the facility. When some of the pods, one of the pods for the young ladies and one of the ones for the young men. The space is a better space as far as how much room they have to be in the pod. They have a rec center right there in the pod. So as far as going out to shoot hoops or just get some fresh air, because the window lifts up and fresh air comes in, they can see outside. So as far as the facility, it's better for them. We still have about 80 juveniles who are in our care, who are actually wards of the state. But because the state had nowhere for them to go, they're in our care. So at the time, we had 160 last week, 80 state wards, and then 80 are ours. So they're continuing to work and ramp up programming with the educational programming, with arts. 'Cause at one point we had an arts program where they could express themselves through art. And there's some mentor groups looking to get in as well. So I would suggest that if any commissioners are interested in viewing the facility as well, to let Tim Johnson know, and then we'll get in contact with Lita Jordan and get a small group to see if you're interested in looking at the facility and seeing how the young people are doing in that space. That space is a little bit better for staffing as well, because you don't need as much staff, quote unquote, but there's still obviously staffing issues at JDF and throughout the county. But if you'd like to go on a tour and see with your own eyes, please coordinate that with Tim Johnson. Also on tomorrow, we have the Tri-County Summit, which will be from 9 to 2 at the Detroit Zoo. That's Macomb, Oakland, and Wayne County. We have an action-packed agenda for tomorrow. It's going to be fabulous. So it's like be there or be square. The information that we've been working on for several months. We'll have 2 representatives from NACO are flying in to speak. The 2 topics tomorrow are broadband and water infrastructure, and what we can do as a region to improve both of those. We've had active participation from Commissioner Terry Marecki, Monique Baker McCormick, Sam Baydoun, somebody else, Melissa, making sure that we have a voice when it comes to the water infrastructure and the broadband. So great information will be forthcoming. Please come at some point during the day. We don't want to be showed up by the other 2 counties, Wayne County being the largest and greatest of the 3. They're going to get me for saying that. We want to make sure that we show up and show out as we gather this great information to help us move this region forward. So please, 9 o'clock to about 3-ish, come anytime during that portion. I'll try to have Tim send out the agenda so you can see who the speakers are and who's speaking at what time. But it's going to be a fabulous event. So now that we've had it in Macomb County, Oakland County, next year it'll be here in Wayne County. So I look forward to you all's participation as we host the other 2 counties here in Wayne for the Tri-County Summit. Okay, any additional questions, comments, remarks by members? Okay, hearing none, we do have the benefits meeting at 12:30, so we have time to grab some lunch before that meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn? All right, report, meeting adjourned. Thank you all.